The funding for this video is provided by the amazing members of our Patreon. Also contributions from viewers like you. Thank you. Yeah, I started from PBS Kids. What you gonna do? Fight me? Anyway, roll the video.
Come on, boys, get loud. 'Cause when the music starts bumping, the whole place will be jumping. It's my scene, my scene. You know what I'm.
Hey y'all, it's Harriana and I'm back with another video. Hi, hello, how are you doing? My name is Harriana and welcome to or welcome back to the pirate ship, also known as Harry Hook's pirate ship. I am the captain, you are not my first mate. I don't got no first mate because you want to know why? Bring your ear closer to the speaker so you can hear me clearly. No one's worthy of being the first mate. But hi, hello, how are you doing? My name is Harriana and I like to make content based on nostalgia and family and children's entertainment and all the issues that I find within those spaces. I know I've been away from a while. I was in a car accident. It ended up being a hit and run. It's been very, very stressful to deal with. I'm trying my best at this point, so I will talk about it more in detail in a video I have coming out today, but I really did need to get something uploaded, so today's video is going to be an art commentary video. The character that I am drawing today comes from Helluva Balls. Don't ask me shit about Helluva Balls. I'm not interested in it. I'm not interested in Has-Been Hotel or any of that. This was an art piece that I drew for a friend of mine, and you know, we needed to get something out. Today, I wanted to talk a little bit more about a video that I made back in May because I noticed that there were certain comments that kind of didn't seem to get where I was coming from. And the video has to do with Black love in 2000s animation and how it was fucking terrible. Like, it was a hot ass mess. And the main reason I came up with that video in the first place is because I wanted to explain why so many Black people shipped Bumblebee with Cyborg. And before anybody sit here and try to fact check me, I know Bumblebee was paired up with another guy in the comic. We are strictly talking about the Teen Titans series. I know he did make an appearance at the end of like the 5th season for Teen Titans, but we're talking about the show. We're talking about the ship between Bumblebee and Cyborg. Cybe is the ship name. And overall, the entire premise of that video was because Black love in the 2000s was so awful, we ended up shipping two characters that weren't romantically involved with each other because it was better than the shit that we were given. I will have a link to that video down below for anyone that is interested in checking that out and wanting to watch it for themselves. But there were some comments I do want to talk about that a lot of people didn't seem to like understand where I was coming from, or I had to explain a little bit more into detail about what I was talking about. So I noticed certain people were saying, hey, what about this couple? And the couple would be a Black person and then a non-Black person. Black love and interracial love is not the same thing. That's something that I just feel like I have to explain over and over to people. It literally isn't the same love. Black love is a relationship between two or more Black people. And then interracial love is when, you know, the people are different races. Everyone in Black love has to be Black, okay? But moving forward, talking about interracial love versus Black love in 2000s animation, and I specifically chose 2000s animation because animation has evolved so much now, like even in the 2020s decade, opposed to how things were back then. But this is just me reflecting on a lot of the series that I watched growing up and noticing that certain things in them did not age well. Me sitting here and reflecting on shows that I loved in the 2000s does not mean that I hate them. A lot of people don't seem to get nowadays that you can still enjoy something and be also very critical of it, because I recently finished reading the book called The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. Was it a perfect book? Absolutely fucking not. Did it have problems? Hell yes. Did I love it? I absolutely did. I loved that book. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. It was a cute little laugh. I needed it because y'all know it's a dark time right now, especially if you are a Black woman or femme presenting person in America. It is a dark time at the moment. I read that book because I really enjoyed it, but I'm not gonna sit here and ignore that there were problems there. And that is what I do with 2000s media quite often, because y'all know I am a Y2K fanatic. I love the entire 2000s decade, but it had fucking issues. And black love during this decade was extremely questionable because I watched a lot of black media growing up. I watched the black sitcoms that were age appropriate for me, but then I go back and revisit a lot of these sitcoms from the 2000s, black sitcoms specifically, and black love and a lot of them just were not good, especially Girlfriends. But I do specifically want to talk more about animation here with this subject. Now, I noticed when I made the video talking about black love and what the fuck all of that shit was, people in the comments were like, I think this couple was good and it was an interracial couple. Now, the reason why this can rub a lot of people the wrong way, and it did rub me the wrong way especially, mind you, I am not against interracial romance. I am not against interracial dating. I am not against interracial marriage. The problem was that oftentimes in 2000s media, when we would see a black character be paired up with a non-black person, the relationship tend to be a lot healthier opposed to if they were in a relationship or like romantically involved or wherever the fuck they were with a black person. That is where a lot of our concerns come from. Y'all know I stay talking about the series Hey Arnold because as much as I adore the series, that show treated girls of color like shit, okay? Like, they treated them like shit. And I don't want to sit here and focus too much more on the Chloe and Gerald situation because that was a different hot ass mess. That was a whole nother can of worms. I specifically want to talk more so about the dynamic between Jamie O and Charisse. And Charisse was a girl. I made a whole video about Charisse, by the way, him and her. I will have that video linked down below too, just as well. But Charisse basically was using Jamie O for not just his money, but also like his labor. She was just using him for like everything, and that is just a ongoing like stereotype that a lot of black women get like pushed upon them, where it's like people think that we're only with men or being with men for the sake of money, and we're not really interested in love and this and that and the third. And that is a whole nother can of worms right there. That's why I really can't get behind a lot of the rhetoric that Shira 7 pushes. By the way, I am very much anti Shira 7 over here, but anyways, the episode with Charisse was just very much bothersome because every time we saw a black girl in this show, she was insufferable. Because I even remember when it came to Gerald and Jamie O's little sister, she was annoying. But why the Charisse situation was a bit bothersome, because you know, she was a bit older than Chloe, the girl that Chloe was a mess. That situation pisses me off so bad. Portrayed her to be such a despicable human being, and it was extremely hurtful because that is the only time we saw a black girl that age in that series, and it was a hot ass mess. She was poorly written, and personally, I don't think she was written bad on purpose. I don't think Hey Arnold intended to be so disrespectful to black girls and women with this series, but also at the same time, you have to take into consideration that when you want to add characters of color into your series, you need to be mindful of how many of that type of person exists. We've only seen like 2 different teenage black girls in this series, and this show just bamboozled them. The writing was horrible. And it was also a bit hurtful too, because on one end where Charisse was just written out to be this gold digger, Chloe was written out in a very adultified way. And those are 2 things that are just very painful to deal with when you are a black girl that grows up in America. Yeah, it just hurt a little too personally with the way those 2 characters were written. But like I said, I'm not sitting here and like saying that Hey Arnold did this shit on purpose. It's just people do things that are racist on accident. But you know what? We live, we learn, we grow, we get better. Because animation and the way a lot of black girls have been written in these shows has changed significantly since then. And we barely had shit back then, by the way. That's why it was just so questionable and offensive. But even then, when it comes to like black characters and love and animation, when it came to like them getting along better with a non-black person, that's why a lot of people really enjoy Phoebe and Gerald. Phoebe was a half white, half Asian girl, and she had a crush on Gerald, and that right there was pretty healthy. It was pretty cute, but it was like this ongoing recurring thing when like a black character, like one of the few times we see that they have like a good romantic interest with somebody, they weren't black. But then there also were a lot of times in 2000s animation where a black character was involved in romance, and it was fucking terrible, or it was just not done very well. And there are 2 examples that I'm going to bring up, and the first one has to be fucking Total Drama Island. I have an entire video about why this one relationship in this series bothers me so much, and it really comes down to the subject of the fetishization of black girls and women. I will have that video linked down below, but leshawna and Harold, that relationship really just grinds my gears. I fucking hate it so much. It is so disgusting.
I can give you what you want. I know the things you're dreaming of. A part of me can feel them too. Give me a little time, and I will make all your dreams come true. I can give you what you want. I can tell you what you want to hear. If it's loving on your mind, I've got a little time, but that don't mean it's a lifetime thing. I can give you what you want. What you want.
I don't like the way he spoke about her. I don't like the way he treated her, because everything that started out with leshawna and Harold, it was very much like they were trying to do like an enemies to lovers situation with them, but he was also a bit racist towards her. So I'm just like, when it comes to enemies to lover and you throw racism in the mix, I can't get down with that. But the entirety of like whatever the fuck they had, because they weren't even really like together, I'd even say, it was very much him like fetishizing leshawna, and it was just so weird. It was just so like disturbing. Like I said, I have an entire video about why that entire relationship makes me uncomfortable, because it goes deeper than just this being an interracial romance in an animated series. It has so much to do with just fetishization and the long horrible history of it, and I talk a lot about Sarah Bartman in that video, so I will have that one linked down below. But the other interracial romance from the 2000s, I would say that it was not nearly as bad as Harold and leshawna, but there was a lot of work that could have been done with that, and that has to be Tiana and Naveen from The Princess and the Frog. I'm sorry. A lot of people were not happy with my opinions on Prince Naveen's character in this movie, but when you look at Tiana and then you look at all the other princes that all the other princesses have gotten, oh, there is like a big difference. There is a drastic difference with them. And I'm not sitting here and saying that all the other princesses that came before Tiana had a perfect prince, but it was not like Naveen. Naveen was just very much giving like childish. He was very immature, very annoying. Like, the main reason why his ass was in New Orleans in the first place is because his parents told him he needed to get a fucking job, because they cut him off because his ass was fucking lazy. And it's just very frustrating to watch this movie, because a good portion of the film is about like Tiana teaching Naveen to become a better person, and we have this ongoing thing where we talk about how black women are not here to save you. Like, black women are not here to save you, and that is so much of what The Princess and the Frog gives when it comes to this relationship, and that's why it pisses so many people off. Because the more you watch it, you realize, oh, by the end of the movie and the way everything ends, like, Tiana's the sole breadwinner here. Like, y'all peep that? Y'all peep that? I did. Did y'all peep it? But I'm not gonna be too hard on like Tiana and Naveen's relationship, because I feel as though, like I said, it's not the worst thing that Disney has done to a black woman, but I do think that there was a lot of work that needs to be done with this relationship. And that is why a lot of people were looking, well, a lot of people, like, that means me and my friends, we were looking forward to the Tiana series, because we do feel as though there is a lot of building that needs to be done with this relationship. Like, yes, please show us that Prince Naveen is worthy of being with our girl Tiana, okay? Tiana is homegirl. I adore her. I love her. But I need to see, it needs to be proven that he's worthy of her love. And that's the reason why I love the Almost There book, the Twisted Tales novel, because I think the interracial romance between Tiana and Naveen was written much better in that book. Mainly because it actually showed he was worthy of being with Tiana, and it wasn't more so about Tiana making him become a better person, him teaching him life skills and shit like that. I love The Princess and the Frog, but it's just, I have so many opinions about the way that relationship was written. But moving forward, talking about the way just interracial romance in the 2000s was portrayed, and it wasn't much better. I'd say it wasn't much better than the actual black romances that we did see. I will say, like, the 2020s decade alone, we've only are like 4 years in. Black love has been portrayed so much better now than it was in the past, because I know Craig of the Creek was late 2010s and then, early 2022. Craig of the Creek, I think, is still going, but when you think about like black parents in romance, and usually the black romance, like Oscar and Trudy, I have so many opinions about that relationship, but we're not going to sit here and talk about them. I would like to take the Carmichael family from All Grown Up and Rugrats, and those are, Susie's mom and dad. While a lot of people were like, this could be a positive black like couple that we saw in animation, we barely fucking saw them. But opposed to the mom and dad in Craig of the Creek, we see them quite often, and I appreciate that. I love that. I really do love the way the grandparents and the parents on Moon Girl's love is portrayed. Like, I think that is very, very well done. I think it is very well written, because the reason why I kind of had my issues with the Proud family is because so much of what we saw with Oscar and Trudy, it was a bit toxic, and so much of it was just them arguing with each other. As we know, Trudy was the breadwinner of the house. Oscar was a hot ass fucking mess. Okay, with what we're getting now, we are seeing more positive relationships with the parents, and they're like a lot more healthy. They're not always bickering and going back and forth and whatever. And yeah, in Moon Girl, we see that the grandparents and the parents, they do have their moments and whatnot, but it is nothing compared to the shit that would go on with the Proud family with Oscar and Trudy, even Dejanay and her parents. And I have so many opinions about how Dejanay's entire family was written. The Proud family has issues, okay? But that being said, I am happy that we are seeing more black romances in animation be like, better, well written, and not being so toxic and all that. But it does raise like some concerns, because we are seeing better romance with the adult parent characters that are in the picture. But we were talking about, when are they like, the teen characters, when are they going to have like that positive black love? You get what I'm saying? If you're familiar with one, like an animated series where there are two teen black characters and they have a pretty healthy romance, let me know in the comments, because none of it is coming to my brain right now. I'm trying to think, nothing's clicking. Yeah, just let me know. Comment down below. I would love to know. But that's all I wanted to say. I just wanted to get on here and give some more thoughts and opinions I've had about just the portrayal of love in our series that we watch. And love isn't just limited down to romance, it could also be very platonic too, just as well. But the reason I've been thinking a lot more about romance lately is because I've been working on that video about like convincing you to ship Toji and Megra. And romance, there's an entire section of that video that has to do with the romance genre. And as I've been working back and forth on that video between everything else that I'm doing, I was like, you know what? I do have some more opinions about the way I talked about black love. So yeah, that's all I'm going to say about this video. I don't want to make it too long. It's been a minute. I have missed you guys. I am going to get back to posting consistently. But like I said, in the next video that I post, which is going to be a bit longer than this one, I am going to explain a little bit about why I've been away, what's been going on with me. I just been really stressed out. But thank you guys so much for watching. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. And yeah, have a good day, night, or whatever time of the day you chose to watch this video. I'm just thankful that you watched it with the ads on. All right, thank you. Goodbye.